Welcome to the next lesson. We are back in Maya. I exported all these subtools to OBJs and did a quick UV on them, so you know the patterns look good. So the boots are like this, and the pants are like this, and the shirt is like this, and the shirt sleeves are like this. They're all laid out. So there's so the, patterns look good on them, or they work on them naturally. So in ZBrush we can import them back in, which I already did here. I showed that in a previous lesson. You just put it down to the lowest subdivision and just do import while you have that subtool selected. And under texture, you can, well, this looks a bit like a bad house party pants from the 90s. But under texture you can select all these textures which are there standard, and as you can see, because my UVs are good now, they have no stretching or anything, and I can just then use textures as a base for my texturing. There is this site called cgtextures.com which allows you to download some textures for free, and they have a lot of stuff, and among that is fabric. I think you can download like 15 megabytes a day for free, and if you become a member you can download way more, and they come in all different resolutions, and there's a lot there. It's a really good site, and if you haven't been there yet, then definitely go and check it out. So I downloaded some fabric patterns, brought them into Photoshop, and there is this this tool, this filter, which is offset, which allows you to just offset the whole thing. It sort of wraps around itself, and then you can paint out the seams, and then if you do it that way, then you basically have a tileable texture. So you have the seam there. Maybe make it a bit bigger. Match it up, or try to. For this, it's not that important. I tend a bit later I'll show you. I actually do it a bit different, but it's good to know how you could make a tileable texture, because you never know when you're going to need it. Just try to hide a little bit. It's not done beautifully again. I sort of go all over the place, and with this kind of pattern stuff it's quite hard, but we could now change our canvas size to 200%, and then we can just duplicate our layers and just make it 4 times as big. The thing is that if I use it straight like this, the pattern will be way too big on our model. So I'm just making it bigger, and so the pattern will be smaller on the model, if that makes sense. Because I made it tileable, it just fits now, and I can just make it one layer. Maybe work a little bit on it, make it seem a little bit less repeated, but all in all, it's quite nice. And there you go. You've got a texture. Maybe adjust a little bit, just maybe make the color a little bit different. You know, whatever you feel like. The use iteration is great for that. Okay. So when we go into ZBrush, we can just import, and there it is, pants fabric. And great, it is I'm not super happy yet. It's still too a little bit rough. I might go back and work on the scale a little bit, but you can see it works. And that is basically the principle how we go about this. A quick render, and as you can see, I want the brightness a bit different, and less saturated. I'm going back into Photoshop for this on this one, but I'll show you a different way to do this in ZBrush as well. And also because I keep duplicating, keep making the canvas bigger, I created quite a my pictures become quite large, and it's better to scale them back down your image size to about 1500 by 1500. It depends on how big your final image is going to be, but it's important that you don't use these giant textures for everything, because you're not going to see that, and it's just going to make your scene really slow, and saving of these textures takes forever. Well, you don't want to do anything which is, it's not going to do you any good anyway. I'll work on a little bit more, and there's a little seam in the middle there which you can't see from far away, but this is now a giant texture. I don't even know if I scaled this one down, but I will do it with the other ones. I was like, why is my scene so slow? And then I was like, oh wait, my texture is 8K. Oh, I don't really need that. So, and even if you find out halfway through, you can go back and fix it, right? You do have a lot of detail with this. You could maybe scale it out to half or something, but at this point I'm not doing it. I'm saving TIFFs. Don't need to. It could be JPEGs as well. I'm a TIFF guy. What can I say? So I'll go back down to my pants fabric. There it is, and there in the swatch. It's let's do a quick render. Actually, I'm going to import it here, and then we'll change it with Spotlight. What I called Spotlight in the previous lesson was actually the light box. I'm sorry about that, all these names. But in the texture thing, you can do add to Spotlight, and then you get this lovely wheel where you can click and change the intensity and saturation and all those kind of things. And you can also use it to paint through, a bit like Mari. So it's actually a really nice tool. So if we just change the intensity, see, you can change the scale, which we don't really, that doesn't matter for here now, this is to paint through, but just to give you guys an idea, there's all these lovely things you can tile. So which I actually don't use. I still do it in Photoshop, but you could tile in Spotlight. So now you select it again, and even though the swatch doesn't look different, once you select it, it should update. There you go. So that looks much nicer. And if we do a quick render, you can bring up Spotlight with Shift Z, and if you press Z by itself, the wheel disappears, which we'll see in the next lesson to do a little painting of the the letter. So it fell away a bit, the detail, so I'm adding a subdivision, and now I can do poly paint from texture, and it would it brings in the texture, and you can turn off the then it's poly painted and you can turn off the texture, but you definitely need more subdivisions because that goes by polygon, as the name says it. So if you don't have enough subdivisions, your resolution of your texture becomes very low, but the advantage is that you can paint on it then, so we can do some more work on it. Alright, in the next lesson we'll continue with more texturing. I'll see you guys there.